Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. There was a Commonwealth super middleweight title fight on the undercard of the Crew-Dezurn Marshall fight. This was on Sky Sports and Sky Box Office, I think it was. I didn't watch it on the box office, but anyway, we won't go there. And it was an upset. It was an upset because you had Zak Chelli, who was a red-hot favourite, losing a unanimous decision to Mark Jeffers. And I had Jeffers winning 96-94. The judges actually had it wider. And to be honest, when I totted up my scorecard, I thought, I'm sure I had it wider than that. But maybe there were a couple of swing rounds. Anyway, the right guy won. Jeffers won. And Jeffers coming in, I mean, he was 15-0 with 4 KOs, no draws. No defeats, no draws, and he'd fought absolutely no one, except, unless you include winning one of those WBO global trinket intercontinental belts, whatever the hell they are, gets you a ranking. He beat a guy from Belgium called Michel Garcia. That was in his last but one fight. And he's trained by Michael Jennings, actually, the former British welterweight champion. He's very, very emotional, Jeffers, after the fight. He's, understandably so. He'd fought absolutely no one. He came in undefeated, and he from the moment that opening bell rang against Chelli, who was the favourite, came in with 13 wins, 6 KOs, 1 defeat, 1 draw. I mean, he took it to Chelli, and well, I say that he wasn't putting it on him really. He was outthinking Chelli. I mean, this wasn't an exciting fight. It was a chess match. Chelli, of course, I mean, put it this way, in contrast to their respective resumes, Chelli's got wins against 5 different guys who had undefeated records. The rest, apart from that one I mentioned, the rest of Jeffers' resume consisted of journeymen, mostly with losing records. And Chelli was coming off a win over Anthony Sims Jr. That was earlier this year, back in February, 10-round unanimous decision. Prior to that, he beat an undefeated Jermaine Brown. That was another unanimous decision. Prior to that, he beat Jack Kilgannon. He stopped him in 6 rounds in an 8-rounder. I mean, you would think, the sheer weight of ability of the opponents, because it's, Chelli completely outweighed Jeffers in this respect. You would think he was going to it would be too much for Jeffers. It wasn't. From the moment the opening bell sounded, Jeffers looking much thinner. Chelli was broader in the back, looking like a big super middle. Jeffers much thinner, more of a parallel line sort of physique. He came out and he was sharp, and he was there to win, and he was confident, and he was, every time Chelli stepped into range, bang, he was on him. And individual pot shots. Controlling the range beautifully, and you could see over the first 3 rounds, Chelli's thinking, what have I got in front of me here? This ain't meant to be happening. And I've got to be honest, I'm the same. I hadn't seen much of Jeffers at all. I must have seen him fight at some point, but I can't remember. I mean, he didn't. I recognised his face, but I couldn't remember any of his fights, and it's not surprising looking at how nondescript the opposition was. But as the rounds progressed, Jeffers wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't slowing up. It was a dull fight. It was a chess match. And it was made a chess match because Jeffers diffused Chelli's aggression. When Chelli did decide to sort of jump in, fire punches, Jeffers was there. And Jeffers worked the body a lot as well. He fired a couple of low punches, sort of in the middle rounds. Chelli started complaining a bit. I think one of them was very low, so Chelli had a right to complain about that one. But Jeffers was picking his punches well, and even when Chelli sort of bum rushed him to the ropes and started letting his hands go, Jeffers would spin off the ropes. He'd reset himself. He was luring or daring Chelli to come in almost. And Chelli, who you would think had, I think he did have faster hands if you're talking combinations, but Jeffers' speed clearly was a problem for Chelli, because when Jeffers fired those individual right hands, they were fast, and Chelli didn't like them. A couple of them did land. Chelli was he did sort of get his skates on, I think, in the second half of the fight, and those are most of the rounds that I gave were in the second half of the fight. The first, if this had been a 5-round, I mean, it would have been 4-1 or something like that, 5-0, 4-1. But he was making progress, but he was having to fight ragged. And he was having to sort of leap in. He was having to sort of maul to, you know, to. There was a fair bit of, I wouldn't say wrestling, but there was a lot of really scrappy, untidy stuff, really from both guys. But it was always Jeffers was always the one who seemed to want to have the last say, land the last punch. He was the one that seemed to want to, you know, reset himself and start boxing again, not fighting. With Chelli suddenly wanted to drag it. You would think Chelli would have had the better skills, but no. You know, at 6 foot tall and broad of back and physically very imposing at the weight, at the super middleweight. No. He was the one who wanted to fight. He was the one. Suddenly he went from being, you know, boxer, quite slick, to being the guy that wanted to have a row with a smaller man. I mean, it makes sense in one respect. But again, Jeffers was a revelation in this fight. He really was. He really showed himself. This was his coming out party, no doubt about it. And when I mean, again, I thought Chelli won the latter rounds, most of them. Certainly won the last round, if memory serves. But when they announced the result, no one complained. All unanimous to Mark Jeffers. And again, I think this was for the Commonwealth super middleweight title. I could be wrong about that. Why do I think it was for that? I think it wasn't. Anyway. It was a great win for Jeffers. Chelli, 25 years old, same age as Jeffers. He's got to go back to the drawing board again. He's lost previously and come back. He's got to do it again. But for Mark Jeffers, this, like I say, this is his watershed moment. It's a coming out party. Good luck to the guy. He can go from here to have some big paydays and to build on this. Maybe challenge for the British title. You know. So what did you think of this fight? Did you see it? Leave your comments below. Like the channel, hit the subscribe button if you're new, hit the like button, and let me know what you think about this fight. I thought it was surprising. It wasn't a great fight to watch, but it was intriguing, you know what I mean? Comments below, I'll answer them. We'll speak again soon. Bye for now.